I'm going to compare NFTs against real physical art and work out which is the best investment for you. So, is it cyber art or real physical art? I think this is going to be a very short video. NFT, for those of you that don't know, stands for non-fungible token. Of course it does. Basically, an NFT is a digital piece of art. They're artworks that you can't look at in any sensible way, touch, or hang on your wall. They exist on your computer or your mobile phone. An NFT is an online token. Each one has its own specific reference number, so every NFT is absolutely unique. But they only exist online. They don't exist in the physical world. So yes, think about NFTs a bit like cryptocurrencies. And a bit like cryptocurrencies, people have been making millions of pounds, dollars all around the world out of NFTs. And I don't mean just as a collective group, I mean individuals have been making tens of millions out of buying and selling these NFTs. And even the big auction rooms, Christie's, have jumped on board. Christie's have just sold this NFT digital artwork by an artist, American guy called Beeple. They sold it for a cool $69 million. No wonder he's smiling. Do you ever get the feeling that you're just getting left behind by technology? No need to answer that question. Right, let's talk about investments. Now, we know, don't we, that when we make investments these days, we're always encouraged to consider the environment, rightly so. And when it comes to investment, art and, antiques, well, they are about as environmentally friendly as it possibly gets. In fact, they are the most environmentally friendly objects on the planet. But when it comes to making money, and especially with NFTs, the environment is out the window. Because NFTs, the little digital online artworks, reference numbers, are traded much more regularly than traditional pieces of antique or paintings, as an example. Think of them a bit like stocks and shares. They can be traded hundreds of times a day in some cases, and with every single transaction there comes an environmental cost, because moving the ownership from one person to another when it comes to NFTs takes technology. In other words, huge amounts of electricity. So NFTs, compared to traditional art and antiques, are highly un-environmentally friendly. Come on, let's get on to the money. I'm all on for making money. We need money, we all do, but we seem to be forgetting these days the pleasure that you can gain in owning, investing in real, tangible, touchable, seeable objects. Practical, or just beautiful, or simply useful, lovely things that we can own, enjoy, invest our hard-earned cash in, and make money on. But what about investments? Which is best, cyber art or real physical art? Well, when I mentioned investments earlier on, you just assumed I was talking about money, didn't you? Cold, hard cash. Well, I wasn't, because when it comes to investing, it's not always about the money. That's my agent saying, David, it is about the money. I'm back. What I was saying is that it's actually not all about the money when it comes to investments. And when you invest in physical, traditional forms of artwork like this that you can literally hang on your wall and walk by every day, look with your eyes and touch with your fingers even, physical things create emotional reactions. Do you remember those things? Real human feelings. dare I even say pleasure, the real human pleasure you get from looking closely at a piece of art that you love and that you own, the same pleasure you get when you're out walking with your dog and you see a lovely view in nature, or let's be honest, your dog, the pleasure you get from your dog, or buying a new car, looking at it out of your window, the pleasure you get looking at an original painting of your wife or a snapshot of your husband on a night out. These are the kind of emotions I'm talking about. Genuine, physical, emotional reactions. The kind of things that make you feel alive, even remind you that you're alive. Now, how much pleasure can you get by opening an email confirming that you've just bought yourself a set of reference numbers, a digital NFT? I'd say no pleasure whatsoever, but please convince me that I'm wrong. You might argue, of course, that you get great pleasure by watching your NFTs increase in value, but I would argue that also you're getting stress because you're going to be constantly checking the value of your NFTs each and every morning, checking your emails and worrying that the market is going to crash. You have to build these feelings in when it comes to making decisions on where and how to invest your money. Look, this is just my opinion, but I think that sometimes by taking a step back away from new technology and stop trying to keep up to date with it, I think it's just good for well-being and peace of mind. So rather than buying a little reference number, maybe you could buy a sideboard, use it, enjoy it. And a sideboard like this, a couple of 100 years old, George III, made out of mahogany. It's as useful and usable today as it was 200 years ago. You'll buy something like this for well under £1,000. You'll always get your money back and very likely a bit more. So to me, on a human level, emotional level, this is a really good investment. Or if you fancy spending a bit more money, how about 7,000 to 10,000 for a real physical piece of art that you can hang on your wall? Proper antique this, Frank Topham, dated 1880 and exhibited at the Royal Academy in London in 1880. So this actually comes with a great story as well. And this is another thing with real physical art. You can learn all about the actual artist and the history to the piece. So again, another sort of emotional feeling coming in here, as well as enjoying the picture itself. Interestingly, it's titled A Prize in the Lottery. Can you see? She's a lottery winner. She's just been given the good news. So if you're a lottery winner, what would you prefer to buy? Something like that. I'll be handling it later this year if you are one. Something like that, or a bunch of reference numbers. Over to you. These are all assets that stimulate your senses. They live with you, they share your lives, and dare I say it, each time you look at them, touch them, and in the case of the sideboard, actually use them, they really do bring great pleasure. Just think of the parties, the Christmas celebrations, the family get-togethers. I promise you, when you use an investment like this, a physical investment like this, the pleasure it brings you is immense. And this might sound a bit odd, but I promise you, the food and the wine served from an investment antique sideboard like this just tastes better. You are very handsome. So for the time being, I'm sticking with physical, subjective art. What about you? Let me know.